Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start. Welcome, everyone. My name is Lisa with the Plano Public Library, and I want to thank you all for joining us for STEAM Skills Website Development. Your microphones have been muted and videos turned off for this program. Please note that if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat. We will monitor the chat and bring questions to the presenter's attention. The presenters and chat moderators will get to as many questions as we can during the program. All relevant links for the program today will be presented into the chat. Today, we have the honor of introducing the Society of Women Engineers. SWE motivates women to achieve full potential in careers as engineers and leaders, expand the image of engineering, engineering profession as a positive force in improving the quality of life, and demonstrates the value of diversity. SWE will present the STEAM Skills 5-week course on website development. Today, you will continue learning about website development with Neha, Maha, and Anushka. Just some housekeeping reminders that we would like to share with everyone. Number one, note that this program is being recorded and will be made available on the Plano Public Library YouTube page for later viewing. 2, soliciting business or selling merchandise during library virtual programs is prohibited. And 3, please be considerate of our presenters and one another throughout the program. Any inappropriate behavior will result in removal from today's program. I will now hand it over to our presenters.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, yeah, so welcome back to the second week of our web dev series with SWE, where we're basically teaching you how to code your own personal website. The website that we'll be building will be like a runway website, well, it'll be called Runway. Basically, it'll just be like a website that shows like a bunch of clothing, like it's kind of like an e-commerce, like shopping website. If you were here last time, I showed the demo. So this time we'll be continuing on. And we'll be getting started with how to like build the homepage and how to make the header. If you weren't here last time, it's okay. We'll basically be starting from scratch, so you didn't miss too much. So first, we're going to start off with index.html elements. So basically, when you're building your website, you're going to be using two coding languages. Okay, so the first one is HTML, where we write like all the code for the website, and then CSS, which is like the styling for the website. So HTML and CSS. One is code and one is styling. So we're going to start off with index.html elements. So what that means is index.html is like the file that we're coding in, and we're just going to be adding some code there. So let's get started. So starting a new HTML file. So if you have VS Code installed and you went through the whole process with us last time, go ahead and open that up. Otherwise, if you don't, just like say in the chat, like, I don't have VS Code, or like if you weren't with us last time. Okay, so what we can do then is we can go over to a website called rebel.it, and I'll send the link in the chat. Okay, so we're at this website. It's called rebel.it. And I'll send the link to this in the chat. All you need to do is type in an email and a password. It doesn't even have to be like a real email. It can just be any email. You don't need to verify it. So go ahead and access that link if you don't have VS Code. And just like say yes if you're like ready to move on. Like once you like log in and stuff. And this is only if you don't have VS Code. So open VS Code from last time or open this like Replit link that I put. Either one is fine. And just like say yes in the chat when you're done.
Hey Neha, do you think we
Yeah.
can move on to the next step?
Okay. I wasn't sure if people are done. Okay. If you've made an account, like if you've logged into Replit, then okay. So moving on, basically what we do, so we just clicked like this plus button, and then you're gonna scroll down and find HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So you're gonna click this plus button under create. Yeah, you can follow on VS Code. That's perfect. So you're gonna click this like plus button if you're using Replit, and you're gonna scroll down to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, just like type it in. And then you're gonna click create a new project. So, and make sure to give it like a normal name. So like web dev tutorial, for example. And then just click create. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click create. And once we do that, we're gonna have this screen, right? So we have the index.html file, we have style.css, and we're gonna have to go ahead and import some some images that we're gonna display on our website. So to do that, go ahead and click on this link, and you're gonna go here to this arrow and click download. And click download. So I'll paste the link in the chat. So you're gonna go here and you're gonna click download. And just say yes when you're done. Okay, so yeah, so once you have it downloaded, you're just basically gonna come over here, back to your like Replit page, and you're just gonna click like, yeah, you're gonna click upload, or you can just like drag that download folder over here. However it works, just like get it over here. So you can just like go here and click upload folder, and then just like find it in your downloads. Or you can like Yeah, so like mine is right here. And you're just gonna click upload. Or you can just like drag it. So once you have the assets folder showing up here, just say yes. So it should show up like this. Like that. So is everyone done with that? So even if you're on VS Code, you should have this assets folder. And you should have this, you should have all of these files basically, except for the script.js, we don't need that. But you should have all the rest of these files. Okay, so whether you're on VS Code or Replit, just make sure that you have this file called index.html and that you have this thing that says doc type HTML and you have this like basic structure. Even if it's not exactly the same, you should have this like basic structure. Yeah, thanks, Mom. Or if the code from the chat isn't working, I know some last time it didn't for whatever reason. I think this should work. So once you feel set up, like your index.html file says all of this, and your style.css says like, well, the code that I gave you in the document. Okay, so like, okay, let me just go back. So you might, once you open the document that I pasted, you'll see that there's a section that says styles.css. So can everyone get on the document that I posted? The Google Doc. Yeah. So at the bottom, you'll see that there's a section that says code for styles.css. So you're gonna need to like take all of this, like the part that I highlighted, just like take all of that, copy it, and then paste it into a file. So the file is gonna be called styles.css. So you're just gonna take it and copy it into here. Or if you're on VS Code, do the same thing. So you're gonna take this and just like copy it here, like that. And just like say done when you're like done pasting this. Like, okay. Nice. Okay, so I think that's it for setup. Okay. And yeah, I think that's it for setup. And now I'll pass it off to Naha's gonna teach you how to do the next step. Wait, uploaded what? Okay, so Lisa, so you just uploaded assets. So then you're gonna scroll up and there's like a Google Docs link. I'll just post it again. So you're gonna go to this Google Docs link and you're gonna copy the part that says style, all this like the part that says code for styles.css, you're gonna copy that. So just go to like the Google Docs link that's like in the chat above. This one. Oh, sorry, not that. But yeah, basically that's what you're gonna copy. So you're gonna copy all the code that I just sent you.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, Maha, you can take it from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neha. So guys, if you are a little stuck, I'll kind of recap what Neha did and then move on to what we have to do next. So right now, if you're on Replit or if you're on Visual Studio Code, you should have your project. And right now, your project will have an assets folder, and then you'll need to also have the HTML file and the styles CSS file. And so right now in both of your files, you just have some basic code. So in the index, you have the building block that specifies the doc type and the head and the body and everything. And then you have your basic styles.css, which imports some fonts and then sets up the page basically. So now we'll be moving on to adding a little bit more to the index.html. So we'll work on the header for the website. If you want to, okay, so I'm gonna also be sending another Google Docs link. And so this link, you'll be copying some code as well from it. So I will also be copying it with you guys. But let me send it in the chat. Okay. I'm having some trouble accessing the chat right now, but oh, can you guys still see my screen or?
Yeah, we can see your screen. What exactly do you need to paste?
I wanted to paste I also have like a file for like the code for the header. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's in the Sweet Education Outreach folder.
It is okay. I can paste it for you.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah, I don't know why I can't access the chat. So what you want to do once Neha sends you guys the link, you'll want to copy this red text. Oh, okay, I see. You can copy the red text from this file. And so this will be the HTML header code. So we'll just want to copy it into the index.html file. And so you want to be pretty careful because you want this to actually show up in your code. So you want to copy it, you want to paste it in between the body tags. So that way it shows up. So you paste the code, the red text code in between the body tags, your index.html file. And so looking at this, it's just 3 lines of code. It's really basic. So you have your opening div tag, and it has a class, a header class. And then you have your H1 heading, and it has a website title class. And then the actual text of the heading is runway. So on your screen, you'll see runway. And then you just close the heading one with the closing tag. And then you close the div with the closing tag as well. Okay. Next, you'll want to copy your CSS code. So you'll copy this blue text. So we'll copy it into our styles.css file. And so just get all the way to the bottom of the file and then go ahead and copy that code as well. So once again, you'll just copy the blue text on this document, and then you'll paste it into your styles.css file. And so kind of stepping through this CSS code. So like we mentioned last time, you can use there are a few different ways to be able to style your HTML and your website using CSS. So you can style by element types, which would be examples like H1 or like a div. You can style by the ID, you can style by the class. So, and you can style by different combinations of elements, classes, and so on. So here we're styling simply by class right now. And so the way that a class is styled is you have a dot, you have a period, and then you type out the class name. So when we're looking at this index.html code, we can see that our div for our header has the class header. So when we want to style that specific div with that specific, when we want to style any element with the class header, we type dot header and then open parentheses and include all of the different styling items, and then we close the parentheses. And so all of these elements within these parentheses are style elements for the header class. So I won't go through every single one. Some of them are a little bit more complex. You may not really need to worry about them. But basically, one of these says justify content. And so this justifies the text. And so we have center, meaning our header is going to have text that's in the center of the page. We also have align items and text align. And then the text align also centers the text. Then we have the background color. The width is 100%. So that means the width of this header is going to be 100% of the screen. And we have the height, which is 5 of a certain unit. And so there are different units that you can use, like pixels, viewport. So yeah, that's like the header class. And then next we're styling the text in the header. And so we are using the website title class. And so if we look back at our index.html, we're styling this H1 heading with the class website title. So we're basically styling this text runway. And so in the CSS, we have justifying the content in the center. The color of the text will be white. We also have the font size and the font family. So this specific font family, we imported at the top with that starter code that Neha gave you guys. So we imported that font, and then we are using that font specifically in the website title. So I believe that we can actually see what this looks like in our browser. So let me pull that up. And so if we open up our HTML file in our browser, let's save this. Okay. Well, you should be able to open up your index.html file and then kind of see what it looks like so far. But we haven't implemented all of the sections yet. So yeah, that's just the header code. So we have it in both the HTML and CSS. And that should be all for the header for now. So I'll stop sharing my screen so that Anushka can continue.
Hi guys, can you hear me? And can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna start building the actual navigation bar of the website. So I'll give you a quick overview of what we're gonna do, and then I'll go over the code with you guys. So first off, we're gonna create new div tags for the navigation bar container, and then more div tags for the navigation bar titles and icons. Then we'll use the tag li to list each of the page titles for the navigation bar, and then we'll add links to each of the list items using a tag called ahref. So let me change my screen so I can share the code. Okay. Can you guys see VS Code and the browser?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, cool. So this is kind of what your website should look like right now, with all the code. So this is the final product. Basically, what we're gonna do or start off doing is this navigation bar right here. Okay, so this is also what your code should look like. I'm gonna start copying and pasting the code, but I'll explain each of the lines of code along the way. So give me a minute. So you want to start off creating a new div class, div tag, and close off with that tag for the navigation bar. And this will hold all of the elements for the navigation bar. And right after, create another div class called Nav Bar. This is where we're going to start off listing the page links. So I'm going to quickly copy and paste all that here and explain along the way. So you'll notice there I listed like nav bar, nav container. This will go back to the style CSS file we have here, where we're later going to format each of these div tags and classes. So, okay, I'll explain each of the tags and then each of the items we have. This nav tag here, we use this to define all of the navigation links. This UL tag right here is important. It basically is used to list all of the items needed. So the UL specifies it's an unordered list of items. You can also use OL to create an ordered list, and that'll give you like a numbered list for all your items. And then we see this li tag here, that this whole line's like li tag specifies each item that's in the list. So for the navigation bar, we have home, women, jeans, all of that stuff for the navigation bar. So you'll see if I save this, it's gonna list all of that. And I have a here. Right now, it's not formatted clear, but with this code, this is what it should look like. So let me know if you have any questions about that so far. But I'll move on to the other div tags we have. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the container. Oh, I also forgot to mention. So this ahref attribute is used to specify the it's used to link a page to another and specify like the URL of specific page. So you'll see right now we don't have these files listed ready, but we'll go over creating those in later sessions. So right now you just want to type that out, but so that we can link the page so far. Okay, I'll go over.
I wanted to point this out because I thought it would be like a good learning opportunity. So it looks like on line 25, I think maybe when we were looking at the code earlier, there must have been a typo. So yeah, sometimes there's going to be like mistakes in the code. So it's really important to know when you have your opening and closing tags. So yeah, I think you can close it with a bracket. Before men.
Right, yes.
Yes, ma'am. There we go. Cool.
That should be it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I'll go over the other div tag right now. This is for navigation bar. So we're going to use our assets folder now, right here, and take some of the pictures from there. So again, we're going to use our ahref tag to link each of the icons to the page and link each of these pictures to the index HTML page. So we'll start off using this image tag. Basically, what this image tag does is embeds the image to our page. So we'll all define them with the class icons, which will be used later in style.css, as I mentioned before, to format it. And then we use this src attribute to specify where we're getting our image from. So you want to use this specific name just to specify, oh, I want search PNG. You'll find that right here in the assets folder, right? So here we're going to be using search, profile, and cart. So if I save this, our new browser should look like that. And you can tell it's not clearly formatted like we want here, but that's what the style.css file is for. So I'll hand it over to Neha to go over that with you guys. Let me know if you guys have any questions.
All right, yeah, for sure. So give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so continuing on from what Anishka said, now we're just going to go over to the styles.css file. And we're just going to add in some like styling to our nav bar and the header that we just wrote so that it doesn't look as bad. So specifically we're adding styling to the nav bar that we just created with the one with all the links. And that way it's going to look more normal. It's not going to look like really jagged and messed up. It'll look a lot nicer. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go over to that Google Doc link that's in the chat. And we're just going to like copy that like second section of code that's in there. So this orange part. And you're just going to copy this into your styles.css file. And once you click like run or go to your browser, it should look normal. So you're just gonna paste this like under all of this. And hopefully that should work. And yeah, there we go. And if you guys want it to look like a larger window, you can click the arrow here on the right side and it should pop out to like a full window. And there you go. So now you have a full nav bar and you have a header. So just to clarify, none of these links are gonna like link to anything yet. It's just gonna say like not found or something like that because we haven't like attached, you know, we haven't made the actual like pages for any of these yet. So it's just gonna link to nothing right now, but we'll work on that next time. So just to like explain some of the CSS code. Okay, so we start with like .navbar container, and that's just gonna like do the formatting for like this whole like, you can imagine like a box around all of these, this whole like navbar, and that's just gonna like set like where it is in the screen. So things like how big it is, like width and height, like position where it is, and it's background color. So as you can see, this section with all the links like home, women, jeans, things like that, the background color is white, and that's where we set the color here. So, and all the elements are going to be in a row, not a column. If it was a column, all of these things would appear vertically, but we're seeing these things like horizontally in a row. So if we scroll down, .navbar, again, that's just going to style like that same section again, just maybe like a subsection. And it's going to align all the elements in the center. That's like the most important part of all this. And then .navbar icons, that's just going to style those icons that you see on the right side, like the search button and the shop icon, like all those icons. We're just going to like set like the position, like where it is on the screen, basically. So that's what setting these margins is going to do. And yeah. And then so nav ULLI, that just means that we're making an unordered list out of these things. So basically all these elements are appearing in a list or like in a line. And yeah, and then we have the A tag, which is an anchor tag. That's just going to be the formatting for all of these like links. So where it says home, women, jeans, shoes, and accessories, clearance, each of these is a link to another page. So we're adding like the styling for those like specific links. So that's where we'll be using this A tag. So if you go back to your index.html, we use the A tag wherever there was like a link of any kind. And then finally, you know, .icons is just going to style the icons. And yeah, that wraps it up for this time. We'll work on like more code next time. So thanks for attending. If you have any questions, definitely let us know. What does VW mean? I believe that's like, whenever it says V, I think that's like relative sizing. So you're not, I don't actually remember.
Yeah, that's right. So the V stands for viewport. And so like when you see like VW, it's like viewport like width-wise and then viewport height-wise. Yeah. And so like Neha said, it's like relative to, you know, the device that you're viewing your HTML or your file on.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that way it shows up the same, whether you're using like a giant desktop or like a smaller laptop screen. Like either way, like all the proportions are going to show up correctly. Yeah. So it should appear the same no matter which like size screen you're using. That's a good explanation, Maha. How does the code know the width of the device? Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. So whenever the reason we're using this like VH and VW is so that it's like relative to the size of the screen.
And then that question is also has like a part that's a little bit out of the scope of this workshop, but you're definitely free to Google it and look it up and learn more. But basically like different types of devices. So like your laptop, your computer, your phone, like there are so many different types of phones that are listed. There's like a standard for these kinds of devices and like their sizes that is not controlled by the coder. It's controlled, I don't exactly know how, but there are different standards. And so that's how the code knows the width of the device because you know, based on like whatever device you open it up on, you can kind of see how it changes. And sometimes you can also like write it in your code, like what kind of device you're going to be using. We're not going to be doing that, but there is like a way to specify it as well. And actually something cool that you can do in general, like with any kind of website or anything, is you can actually open up, like I think if you hit the key F12 on your web browser, here, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
So, so if you like go to like Google, right? If you hit F12, you go to the developer tools. And so you can kind of choose like different devices that you can see this website on. And so if I hit like iPhone XR, then this is kind of what it would look like, this specific code on like an iPhone XR. And then if you were to go to like Galaxy Fold, then you see what it looks like on another type of device. So that's like the developer tools, and that's something that you can do even with this website and its code. So yeah, that's just like a lot of information to answer that question, but I hope that answers it. Yeah. And I don't know how
That's a
to.
lot of great information.
Thanks. I close the meeting controls and I don't know how to open them, so I can't stop sharing my screen now, but yeah. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, so it showed up in inspect element, and then I've never actually seen that feature where it's like shows you all the different devices.
Well, thank you. Is there any more questions for this portion tonight? Hold on, looks like you have one more comment down there.
Yeah, so you have to click a specific button. I think I already had it open, but to kind of see that, here, I'll do it real quick. So when you open up your developer tools,
yeah, there's like a button that says like phone or tablet. It looks like a phone or tablet.
yeah, it's right up here. So that's how you can see that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, does anyone else have any other questions?
All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to just share a few resources of the Plano Library real quick before we conclude tonight. Give me a second so I can share my screen here. All right. Well, thank you for joining today, and I would like to give a special thank you to our presenters at SWE for this amazing 5-week program series. We appreciate you being here, and I'd like to share a few resources with you today as we wrap up. First of all is our STEAM kits. For more hands-on STEAM activities, the Plano Public Library offers STEAM kits for all ages. STEAM kits include learning components for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math to support STEAM-based learning. Our teen STEAM kits focus on technology and problem solving. Check out kits like the Teen Kano Computer Kit, Teen Little Bits, Arduino Kit, and Teen Raspberry Pi 3 Kit. And to see more STEAM kits, check out the Plano Public Library catalog. 3D printing. The Plano Public Library offers 3D printing services at Harrington and Parr Library, and also at Davis, but Davis is currently closed for construction. You can use 3D design software programs such as Tinkercad to design your own 3D model. You can submit your design as an STL file on a USB flash drive and then let our library print your creation. For more information on how to submit your 3D design, pricing, and 3D printing classes, check out the PPL library website. And LinkedIn Learning. Your library card grants you access to thousands of courses on LinkedIn Learning. You can expand your website development skills by checking out courses on website design and development. You can access LinkedIn Learning on the Plano Public Library website under Research and Learn. But it should be noted that Frisco residents unfortunately don't have access to this particular database link. Well, be sure to stay up to date with the Plano Public Library by following our Facebook page and checking out our blog at planolibrarylearns.org. There you can find recordings of past programs and other materials about how to take advantage of everything the library system has to offer. Please complete our program survey, which should pop up following this program. We value your feedback. Thanks again for joining us today for STEAM Skills Website Development. And everybody, I hope you have a great evening.